There's less than 8 weeks to go before the presidential election, and early polling is now available in many states. So, why are you voting? Hey, it's Elliot. Hey, it is getting close to that time when all our votes will be cast, and we'll learn if things will stay the same or if change will come to the White House. Sadly, some of your friends and neighbors will not vote for reasons too complex to tell here. On the other hand, many, such as actor Norm Lewis, will. A veteran of more than 24 Broadway productions, including Les Miserables, Chicago, and Dreamgirls, Lewis was recently featured as Eddie, one of 5 Vietnam War veterans in search of money and memory, in Spike Lee's Netflix hit The Five Bloods. However, he'll always be recognized as the first African American to play the title role in the Broadway production of The Phantom of the Opera.
Slowly, gently, night unfurls its splendor. Grasp it, sense it, tremulous and tender. Turn your face away from the garish light of day. Turn your thoughts away from cold, unfeeling light, and listen to the music of the night. Close your eyes.
Norm Lewis joins us now from his home somewhere in the Northeast here. Norm, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. Cannot complain. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I have to tell you, after booking this and knowing that you were coming in, my wife and I went back and looked at some of the history of the Phantom of the Opera. And of course, we relived, Michael Crawford, who I believe originated the role, Robert Guillaume, who was the first overall Black African American to play it, I believe, in the Los Angeles company.
Wow.
You, my friend, we came to the conclusion, are the Phantom of the Opera. Absolutely, hands down, dude, the best production ever. I'm so sorry we missed that.
Wow. Well, it was an honor to be in the show. I've been dreaming about playing that role for so many years, and it finally came to fruition after 20 years from the first time I saw it back in 1994.
Wow, and now it's of course Broadway is dark right now, and eventually it will come back. Any possibility that you'll revive the role if there's a revival on Broadway?
Well, listen, if they will have me back, I would love to go back. It's one of those roles that you can be, pretty much any age because you're underneath a mask. So as long as you get notes, I love the role. I've loved the show. Like I said, for 20 years, I coveted it. I saw it in 1994 in Toronto with Colm Wilkinson. And then 20 years later, in 2014, I got to play the role on Broadway.
Yeah, and you do it well. You really do it well. Talk to me a bit about the Five Bloods. Just recently out on Netflix, co-starring yourself, of course, with many others, Delroy Lindo and Chadwick Boseman. How was it in that production? And what's your reaction to Chadwick's sudden and an untimely death?
Wow. So many layers to this whole answer. I was blessed to get the role. I mean, Spike Lee, God bless him, he came to see me do a lot of Broadway shows. And the one in particular he saw like 5 times was Porgy and Bess. And I was a cripple in the show. And so I had my foot turned in a certain way. So he remembered that. And I had played in his TV show, She's Gotta Have It. And from that, he gave me a call one night and said, "Hey, I want you to read a script." And I said, "Okay." And he hung up on me. And so I didn't know anything.
Sounds like Spike.
I didn't know if he wanted me to be in the movie or just read the script for any kind of approval. Whatever. And so I read the script, and the next day he calls and says, "I want you to meet me for dinner in Brooklyn." I go out to Brooklyn. We talk about the script. We talk about the characters. And he says, "I want you to play Eddie." So inside, I'm like, yeah, but outside, I'm trying to be cool, saying, "Thanks, man. Yeah, I really appreciate this opportunity." But we shot it in Thailand, and the 4 of us, me, Delroy Lindo, Isaiah Whitlock and Clark Peters, we got to bond for about 6 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And we got to go through boot camp. We got to do our scenes, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then weeks later, Chadwick Boseman comes in to shoot his scenes. And so we only had a finite time with him. We had like 2 weeks.
Right.
But it was amazing. He fit right into our little camaraderie that we had built. And he was just the nicest guy. We didn't see any sort of like illness, any sort of slowing down, any sort of anything. I will say that he had his entourage, small entourage. He had someone that was there to give him physical therapy after certain scenes. But I thought, that's because he was a star. He was a little bit thinner than I had anticipated because when I saw him in Black Panther, he's bulked up. And so I'm thinking, well, maybe this is what, the TV film kind of industry is. You have to be a little skinny to look cut.
Sure.
Or maybe he was working on another role. I didn't know. I just, nothing like he was ill. And so in all conclusion to that, it's so sad because he was only 43 years old and fighting this for like 4 years. And so, it goes into many different layers as far as like colon cancer and being treated for it, and also being, going and having an examination.
Sure. And I'm sure we all felt the same way. It's just a remarkable career in such a short period of time. And I'm sure many people, including yourself, will miss him going forward. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your voting experience. We've had this conversation, and what you told me was I thought, a unique take on it, in that you were very excited to cast your vote at a very early age, were you not?
Yeah, absolutely. It was in our household. Every year we would watch the conventions, whether it be the Republican convention or the Democratic convention, just to see who was running and just to see what they had to say. And so it was kind of a staple in our household, and talking about politics. And I just could not wait until I turned 18. So I, give my vote. And even on the local level, I couldn't wait to vote for the mayor. I couldn't wait to vote for the senators, the council people, the senators, governor, things like that.
Wow. Well, now going forward, I mean, what was the most, important vote you say of your lifetime? The one that really got you going?
Well, I remember I had, I'm going to cut to 1992, and I remember I was getting ready to go on tour with a show. But I delayed my actual date to fly out to wherever the city, I had to meet them because I wanted to vote on that Tuesday. It was, and that was for Bill Clinton. And so I made sure that I was there on time at the voting booth, and I worked it around that schedule, as opposed to, me putting in an absentee ballot or something.
What do you say to people? Because we have so many folks, even now, with everything at stake, so many people will say, my vote doesn't count, or, I'm not really crazy about either of these candidates. I would imagine you don't count yourself among those people. What would you say to folks who you may run into on occasion, who kind of put that obligation aside with those excuses, and probably many more that we haven't even thought of?
Well, it's interesting because like you said, there is so much apathy when it comes to that. It's like, my one vote won't count, when you just don't know. I mean, I've seen so many close races by a few thousand, a few hundred. I've even heard of people losing by a few hundred. So it's really, really important. I mean, not to really get all ethereal, but our ancestors fought for this freedom, and for a long time we could not vote. And so it's so important for us to, especially if we're going to have a say or a stake in this economy, in this government, and just in this society, we have to make our voices known. And voting is such it's not a privilege, it's a right. It's something that you have to do. And the more that people get together, they have to understand that. I mean, it was just proven in this last election back in 2016, even though the popular vote, people, came in, but the electoral thing, which I still don't understand.
Many of us don't.
if those counties in those areas had been, they lost by a few thousand votes, and so it got swayed over into whatever that electoral college situation was. So it really is important. Please, please get out there and vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but just so you can have a say and you can have an argument or a debate about why you voted, who you voted for, and the reasons why.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Norm Lewis, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your stories. Thank you for your insight. And thank you for taking the time. Best of luck going forward, and all good future for you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you. And this has been a joy. Thank you for having me on.
Okay, my pleasure. Remember, there are currently 47 states in the U.S. that allow early voting or vote by mail. That's why we're leaving some links in the comments below to help you cast your ballot conveniently and safely. Remember to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, then go vote. In person, vote by mail if you have to, vote early if you can, but go vote.